listening to Exposed Living Be Ageless, the podcast where we drop the masks, flip the script, and talk real life, real love, and real leadership unfiltered. I'm Stacey Vanthuyne, coach, speaker, entrepreneur, and founder of the Exposed Living movement that's redefining what it means to live, lead, and grow at any age. We talk identity, reinvention, belief, and freedom from the bedroom to the boardroom. Yes, we go there. This is not about staying young. This is about waking up. So if you're done with the shoulds and craving more fun, more freedom, more truth, more you, then grab your favorite drink, your bestie, maybe your journal. It's time. Let's get exposed.
Merry Christmas. Happy Boxing Day. I hope you had an incredible Christmas yesterday. I wanted to release this special solo episode today, the 26th of December, to share with you some of the changes that are happening on Exposed Living as we move forward into 2026, as well as share with you some of the beliefs of 2025 I decided to rewrite for myself. And it actually ended with as early as yesterday, spending my first Christmas, for the most part, alone. You see, the truth is every year around this time, my house sounds very busy. It's loud. There are people everywhere. Music is playing. Cards are on the table. There's a lot of laughter. There's cheers. There's drinks raised. And like I said, it's typically always with my mom and dad, my brother and his family, as well as some friends. But this year looked different. Not because I lost anything, not because anything was missing, but because I'm expanding. We're expanding. We're doing things differently. We didn't lose family. We didn't lose love. If anything, we just gained a different perspective. For this Christmas was definitely quieter, but it wasn't because anything was missing. I felt so much love from my family, so much love from my girls, but it was quieter because something new is forming. So again, happy Boxing Day. And you know, I've seen all quotes over social media as we kind of ramp up into closing down 2025 and opening up 2026, where people are saying 2025 was the year of the snake. It's about shedding. And here we are in 2026, coming up into the year of the horse. The year of the horse means building momentum. It means creating more freedom, having more power. And you know what I realize is people love these words. I love these words. We repost them. We feel inspired. We get excited about the possibilities, the potential that lies in the new year. But here's the truth. No one really says out loud, but on Exposed, we do. A new year doesn't give you a new life. 2026 will be the same year as 2025 if we don't change something. And it's not about strategy. I mean, I always say, if it was only about strategy, we'd all have the perfect bodies, the perfect relationships, we'd all be millionaires. But what gives us a new life and what will make 2026 different is by disrupting the old and building a better you, building a new identity. You see, we don't get the energy of the horse by liking a quote. We get it by becoming someone who moves before they're ready, who moves before there's proof, who takes action before the evidence is shown. And here's the truth about 2025. You didn't shed a skin or something that was no longer serving you because it was a year of snake. If you shed anything, it was because you're willing to let go and you're intentionally identifying something that would no longer serve you. And you didn't want to bring it forward anymore. But you know, as Gen X, we were rarely taught about how to lose, how to fail, that failing is part of winning. And you know, when we reflect back in our lives, we can all see that we've done that at some time. But what I've come to realize, or to see anyways, is that a lot of us stay stuck in the version of us that is comfortable. And yet to create something new in 2026, whether that's better health, whether that's more success, however you define success in your business, in your relationships, in your financial status, we've got to be willing to lose, to let go, to embrace failing. Because all of us, I know this, biggest lessons were in our greatest failures. And yet I find as we get older, we know more, but we do less. And that causes us such frustration. So how about we make a commitment together? In 2025, we're going to lose the excuses. We're going to lose the start stopping. We're going to lose the procrastination to win and to build a better you, a better me. Potential is never the issue. It's about what we're going to do with that potential is really where the crux of everything lies, where it's formed, all of it. Because we need to be able to come to believe and to feel that we can lose the version of you, ourselves, that stays safe so we can grow. The truth is, the only true loss is never attempting. So let's reflect on 2025. 2025 was a year I turned 15 and I said, no more excuses, no more waiting, no more, I'll do it when, or I'm too busy. For 2025 we're still in it, is a year I realized that the only way to get more, to create a better me, was to do uncomfortable better. To actually become honest with myself around some of the decisions that I said I made, but did I really? I tell people I made a decision, but as long as the action that was required was in my comfort zone, then I did it. But if I'm being totally honest with you, there were times where if I was sticking to that decision meaning death of anything opposite to what I want, that I had to get uncomfortable. And it was scary. But we all know that just because we say we make a decision, it doesn't mean things will change. It starts it. But if we're not willing to go into that unknown area, to become uncomfortable, then the truth is we didn't make a decision. We made a half in, half out. I'll never forget when my coach said to me, Stacey, 80% in is still 100% out. I was like, shit, he's right. Because as long as that 80% was going the way that I wanted or thought and happening in the timing that I wanted it to, then I was okay with making that change, with losing whatever belief or identity piece of me that I had to do it. But when it became this place of unknown and potentially I couldn't see the evidence right away or the proof of what I was doing was moving me in the right way, I would stall. And this is one thing that I've really come to know in 2025. Our brains are set up to keep us safe. They don't know the dreams that we have. So sometimes when we have these dreams or these ideas or these goals that are greater than what we know how to do or what we've done to date, our brain is going to tell us all the reasons why it's not possible. Now, it thinks it's helping us, but it's actually not. It's stopping us from building that next version of ourselves. And it's not that we lose the part of ourselves that we love, but we lose the part of us that is no longer in alignment with what it is that we want moving forward. And that doesn't mean that there's anything that we need to feel guilty or shameful about because it's served us to this point. But the question is, does it continue to serve you in creating what it is that you want as we move forward? In order for you to love this podcast, you have to believe with me that we're spiritual beings, that the soul of us is for further expansion and the growth. And the reason why so many of us start to feel stuck in life is because we're not allowing for further expansion and growth. We may hope and wish for something different, but we keep showing up the same as we were before. And then our results stay the same. And then we start to think that it's not true for ourselves when that's not true. It's just that if we could get what we want being who we are, we'd already have it. So we need to make a decision. And that decision isn't, oh, I'll only do it when it's convenient or when I'm in my comfort zone. It requires us to do it all the time, and especially when it's uncomfortable. Because if we aren't, then that is being interested in something and not committed. And I'll tell you what, interested doesn't create a new life or new experiences or more freedom, which is ultimately what I believe we all crave: freedom, whether that's financially, emotionally, spiritually. So this year, I trained harder than I ever have in my life. At 50, I completed my first half Ironman. And no, age is not just a number. It truly is a mindset. So here's the first Gen X belief I had to override: I'm in great shape for my age, so why do more? Now, I decided to be in great shape and have a goal bigger than what I've ever done. I have made healthy living part of my identity. And when it came to doing something that I've never done before, stretching myself to train like never before, I stopped negotiating with that part of my mind that was trying to keep me safe. I stopped letting the excuse of being tired or not having enough time. And instead, I became someone who trained like her goals are non-negotiable. That's being full in. I fed my body some good stuff. I got to do a little shout out to Plexus right now. If you want more energy in your days, regulating your hormones, to have better sleep, to help you with your weight, reach out to me. Plexus saved me. And it also, if you see me, got my hair looking a little bit better. I'm telling you, this collagen is to die for. All right. More on that later. But now, being honest with you, some days when it came to training, it was hard. In fact, it sucked. Some days I didn't feel motivated. Some days I wanted my comfort. Some days my body said no, and yet I did it anyways, because here's what I've come to learn. People who get what you want are no different than you. They just don't pay attention to their excuses. They fall in love with repetition. They do it anyways. And we must become obsessed with what it is that we want. Obsession is a great word. It's like desire to the maximum. When you got desire on your back, it's like rocket fuel. So obsession is not the problem. Complacency is. Being average, being mediocre. And I can tell you, anybody who's listening to this podcast does not want to be called mediocre. I want this episode to go into all aspects of my life for you, to get to know me, to recognize that exposed living is how I endeavor to live my life, and it elevates me. And we are going to elevate this show in 2026, pull back the covers, dive into love, dive into relationships, to be vulnerable. So here goes. When it comes to my love, I've been single for over 10 years. Throughout those years, I've had many relationships and met many incredible people, but no real relationship has lasted more than a few months. I've been blessed that many of the people that I've dated in my past are still my friends, as there were many things that we really enjoyed about each other. However, there always felt like there was something missing. So, we did well to remain friends. But this year, I experienced one of the greatest loves of my life. Now, saying that, I don't know where that story will go, and I'm okay with that. Because one of the other things I've really learned in goal achievement is that we've got to release the expectation of the how and the when, and just trust that everything is working out for me and that there's a grander plan in it. And that includes in love. Because I believe nobody crosses our paths without having a reason. I don't believe in luck. I believe in synchronicities. I believe that there is a universe out there at work. God has a plan. And it's are we willing to hear it? Are we willing to act on it to create it? So the belief when it came to love and relationships that I had to override was, if it doesn't last forever, it wasn't worth it. Well, that's just not true. No, I had so many incredible experiences and support in that past year that whether it works or not, it was all worth it. Love isn't measured for me by duration. It's measured by experiences and expansion. And I can tell you, I expanded. I learned, I softened, I felt, I committed. And to me, that's what matters. Another area of my life that expanded this year was service and faith. As I also had the opportunity to go to Thailand, as many of you know, to help men and women impacted by human trafficking. And I got to be honest with you, I cried every freaking day. Not because I was broken, but more because I was opened. Serving these men and women who had survived sex trading for the women and labor trafficking for the men stripped me down to what actually matters. When it came to service and faith, the Gen X belief that I believe many of us have or have had and that I had to override was success is about building more for yourself. And for me, what I found this past year was no, it's not about what I can do for myself. It's by growing myself, I can be more impact. Success for me is about building capacity to serve more. I now know without a question that service is part of my growth, and it will continue to be in 2026. And the retreats that I have planned will ultimately involve an aspect of service. Stay tuned for these because God has been with me every step of the way. Even when I didn't have clarity, even when I didn't have evidence, even when I didn't have all the answers. I had to stop living in fear and controlling and trust in love and move with it. Faith is uncertainty. Faith is showing up anyways. And I got to tell you, one of my favorite songs right now is called The Battle Belongs. It's by Phil Wickham. If you're going through a challenging time or not, and you just want to feel more connected to the source, to know that the burdens that we carry aren't ours alone, then I encourage you to play this song and know that you too are not alone. So we talked love, we talked faith and service. Let's go into parenting. My God, I've got 2 daughters. I have mentioned that I've been single for 10 years. So I've been raising these girls since they were 6 and 3. And yes, I do have some support from my ex-husband. However, for the most part, they are with me. And this year has been, it's kind of been building throughout the years, but this one, there was some times where I realized I am parenting from fear, from controlling. I am so afraid of the girls making their mistake and screwing up their lives that I'm trying to control them. And yet I forget the most important message, which is how we started this. And so it's no doubt that because we weren't taught how to lose well, that we are kind of continuing that belief onto our kids, and it's not serving them. How many of you have kids and it's almost like because of social media and everything being so in their face that they're almost afraid to launch? It's like, unless I'm great at it, I don't want to do it. And yet again, we know the only way to get great at it is by taking the practice. And during that practice, chances are you're going to fall down. But if it's an obsession, you love it, you'll get back up. So when it comes to parenting for me, let's just say it's been a growth year. Leading myself while raising humans. Here's what I learned. When it came to parenting, the belief I'm actually letting go of, dismantling this year, was that it's our job as a parent to make it easier for our kids. That if we have the ability to help them, we should. No. I'm letting this one go. This one can stay in 2025. I want to teach my girls how to build grit, how to be grateful for certain situations, how to fall down and get back up, how to commit, not just be interested in a goal, how to dig in and find that next level of strength from within. What we model becomes their norm, and I want greatness to feel normal. I want failing to be normalized and to realize that we can't get what we want without challenges and adversities. I said it earlier and I'll say it again because the truth is, if we could get what we want being who we are, we'd already have it. And this was true for our kids. They're going to have their own stories. And sometimes that means I'm going to have to let them fall in order to grow. Now, from parenting, let's go into business, into the real discipline and belief. As what I've experienced since leaving my corporate world a couple of years ago and now growing a business is that at times it can feel lonely. I miss my team. There were moments this year where the pressure felt heavy. Moments I questioned myself, moments I had to override this belief. If it's meant to work, it should be easier by now. Now, the belief I'm adopting now is pressure is a privilege. And in pressure is growth. And when that growth feels heavy, it's because we're carrying more. We're able to. So being grateful that this is happening for me. And the truth is, I kept investing in myself, and I will continue to keep investing in myself, in the growth. That's how I show up for my clients and the people I support, because belief comes before evidence. Always. And this is not just in health or relationships and or parenting, but in your business. And as a leader, it is our job to see the best in people, to take action before the evidence. I wanted this episode to share beliefs that I had to override in 2025 when it came to my health, to service, to God, to family, to relationships and business. And this is where we sit, the truth. If we want different in 2026, if you want 2026 to be your year of the horse, where you take action, then we got to let go of the excuses. We got to override some of those beliefs that have been holding you back. We've got to stop fixing and start becoming. There are no shortcuts. There is no waiting for permission or waiting till you're ready. We got to act before we're ready. We got to take risks that are outside of our comfort zone and not be reckless, but to chase our greatness. And Gen X, we're tough. We can do this. And you have done this. But just because you turned a certain age didn't mean that the rules of success change. Success should feel effortless. And a lot of times when we feel it's heavy, it's because we're not even in alignment with what it is that we want and who it is that we need to be. We cannot keep showing up being the same person, wishing and hoping for different. Now, it's not always about a new plan, but it is about building a new identity. And that requires us building new beliefs. Beliefs drive our identity drives our story leads us into our actions that ultimately get us our results. So often we go to results, behaviors, but what's behind the behavior is what we believe about ourselves. It's one of my favorite quotes: whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So what will you choose to believe?
That's it for today's episode of Exposed Living, Be Ageless. But this is just the beginning. If this episode made you feel something, share it. Tag me. Send it to a friend. Let's start the conversation we can be having all along. No shame, no guilt. Unfiltered, raw, real, exposed. And if you're ready to go deeper, join us inside the Exposed Living Facebook community, where we take this work off the podcast and into real life. Know this: your change starts when your excuses die. Because this life, this one wild, ageless, unforgettable life, is waiting on you. This is your time. This is your truth. This is Exposed Living.